Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
The elevator hummed softly as it carried me up to my apartment, the weight of another 14-hour workday pressing down on my shoulders. My briefcase dug into my palm, but I didn't care. Today was supposed to be different. Today I turned 29. At the office, it had been almost perfect. My boss, Mr. Harlan, had handed me an envelope with a rare smile. "Martha, your work on the Callahan account was extraordinary. This is timed to your birthday, I believe." Inside, a performance bonus, $79,000. My chest had swelled, but the feeling fizzled quickly. Money can't blow out birthday candles with you. When I unlocked my apartment door, the silence inside greeted me like a familiar enemy. On the coffee table sat the small cake I'd picked up that morning. A single candle leaned slightly like a tired soldier. I dropped my bag and checked my phone. 0 messages, 0 calls. My chest tightened. Not even Mom's half-hearted "hope it's a good one, dear." Nothing. I almost laughed, until curiosity pulled me toward the family group chat. My stomach twisted as I scrolled. "Dad, Craig deserves an around-the-world trip. He received a promotion today. And he needs a rest. He's earned it. Mom. Martha can help, she just got a bonus. $25,000 isn't much for her. Craig. Thanks guys, you always come through for me." That was it. No mention of my birthday, not even a casual congrats. I sank onto the sofa, the phone trembling in my hands. Memories surged, sitting alone at 12 with melting frosting while my family cheered Craig's soccer win. At 17, exiled to Grandma's house while they toured Yale with him. Always him. Never me. The cake on the table mocked me. I struck a match, lighting the lone candle. The flame flickered weakly. "Happy birthday, Martha," I whispered. My voice cracked. The phone buzzed suddenly. A message from Craig. "Craig, hey sis, about that contribution. Dad said you'll cover 25. Can you confirm tonight?" Something inside me hardened. My hand hovered over the keyboard, trembling, but instead of replying, I blew out the candle. In the sudden darkness, I felt it, the shift, the smallest spark of rebellion. For the first time in years, I wondered, what if I stopped giving, stopped chasing their approval? What if this birthday could mark the beginning of something else entirely? I didn't sleep that night. The digits on my alarm clock crawled past 2, 3, 4, while my thoughts circled the same bitter track. My family hadn't forgotten my birthday. They had deliberately replaced it with Craig's triumphs. Again. At dawn, I brewed coffee strong enough to burn, sat at the kitchen table, and opened the group chat. My thumb hovered over Craig's smug request for money. This time, my pulse didn't race with guilt. Instead, something sharper coursed through me, clarity. I typed, "Martha? No, I won't be contributing. My money is my own." I hit send before fear could stop me. The silence that followed was louder than any ringing phone. By noon, the calls started. First, Mom. "Martha, sweetheart," she began in that falsely sweet tone. "You know your brother needs this. Don't be selfish." I let out a short, humorless laugh. "Selfish? For once, I'm keeping what I earned. You forgot my birthday yesterday, Mom." A pause. Then her voice hardened. "This isn't about birthdays. It's about family duty." Family duty? My hand shook, but my words came steady. Funny how duty only ever points one way, with me paying the bill. I ended the call. Dad tried next, his voice stern. "Don't make a scene, Martha. Craig deserves this trip. You'll only embarrass yourself by refusing." "Maybe it's time I embarrass myself then," I said, and hung up. For the first time, I didn't feel crushed. I felt awake. My chest burned, not with shame but with something I couldn't name yet. Liberation, maybe. The rebellion wasn't loud. It was a simple word, no. But I knew, as I stared at the extinguished candle still sitting on my table, that this spark had lit something irreversible. The invitation arrived 2 days later, disguised as kindness. "Come over for dinner, Martha. Let's talk as a family." My stomach nodded the moment I read it. Still, part of me hoped, foolishly, that maybe this time they would listen. The dining room smelled of roasted chicken and rosemary when I arrived. My parents sat flanking Craig, who grinned like a cat with cream. The extra wine glasses on the table told me this wasn't reconciliation. It was a setup. Mom clasped my hand as I sat. "Martha, we're worried about you. Withholding money isn't healthy. Don't you want to support your brother's future?" I leaned back, forcing calm. "I've supported him for years. What about my future?" Craig chuckled, swirling his wine. "Oh, come on. You don't even have responsibilities. No family, no kids. You've got nothing but your paycheck." His words sliced deep, but I didn't flinch. "That paycheck kept this house running more times than you'll admit." Dad's fork clinked against his plate. Enough bickering. Martha signed the agreement Craig's drawn up. A small monthly contribution, just fair between siblings. He slid a folded paper toward me. My chest tightened. It wasn't dinner. It was a tribunal. I pushed the paper back. "I'm not signing away my freedom. Not again." The silence that followed was thick, broken only by Craig's scoff. "You're being dramatic. One day you'll regret pushing us away." I met his smug eyes. "Maybe. But I'd regret losing myself more." Mom's voice cracked, half plea, half threat. "Martha, think carefully before you walk out of this family." I stood, my chair scraping the floor. My pulse hammered, but my voice was steady. "No, you think carefully. Because the family you're clinging to is already broken." As I left, their shocked faces seared into my memory. The ambush had failed. But war had just begun. The next morning I woke with the taste of defiance still on my tongue. Their ambush had only clarified one truth. I was nothing more than their wallet. If I wanted freedom, I had to sever the chains they'd so carefully knotted around me. I opened my laptop and pulled up every record. Bank transfers, tuition payments, overdue bills I had quietly cleared. Each receipt glared back like a scar. For years I had been the silent safety net while Craig basked in applause for his hard work. The phone rang. Mom. I let it buzz until voicemail caught her trembling voice. "Martha, don't do anything rash. We'll talk tonight." I almost laughed. Talk, in her vocabulary, meant obey. By noon, I had drafted emails to the university and utility companies, revoking all automatic payments in my name. My chest felt lighter with every click. The shackles weren't just loosening, they were snapping. That evening, Craig stormed into my apartment without knocking, fury written across his face. "You've lost your mind," he barked. "My classes were frozen today. Do you have any idea what you've done?" I stood tall, heart pounding but steady. "Yes. I've stopped funding your lies." His fists clenched at his sides. "You can't just cut us off." "I can," I said coldly, "and I already have." For the first time he faltered, his arrogance cracking into panic. "Mom and Dad won't forgive this." I stepped closer, my voice low but sharp. "Then let them hate me, because I'd rather face their wrath than keep drowning in silence." Craig's mouth opened, then closed, his fury collapsing into something smaller, fear. As he stormed out, slamming the door, I exhaled a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. The chains were broken, but I knew the backlash would come. The next morning, I did what once would have felt impossible. I bought myself a birthday gift, a cottage high in the mountains, away from the noise, the demands, the constant reminders of my sacrifice. It was more than real estate, it was freedom, walls that belonged to me and no one else. I walked away that day, resolved to live for myself, to build a life no one could tear down. Independence was no longer a dream, it was mine. A whole year has passed since I broke up with my family. The morning of my 30th birthday dawned without fanfare, but for once I didn't wait for anyone else to remember me. I brewed my coffee slowly, savoring the steam as it curled through the air, and let the silence of the mountains wrap around me. This was my first birthday since walking away, since buying the cottage that now stood as my fortress and sanctuary. My gift to myself had been freedom, and every beam, every stone of this house reminded me of that choice. I baked a small strawberry cake, the kind I used to wish someone would surprise me with. When the candles flickered, I leaned closer and whispered, almost conspiratorially, "Happy birthday, Martha." The words were soft but unshakable, the kind of blessing I had never received from those who should have cared most. My phone vibrated on the counter. A message from my mother lit the screen. "You'll regret that," had abandoned her family. I stared at it, strangely calm, before typing, Families don't exploit. I finally chose myself. With a single touch, I blocked her number. The silence that followed wasn't emptiness, it was peace. In the evening, my cottage was filled with warmth and laughter. Friends gathered around the long wooden table, their voices rising in messy harmony as the fire crackled in the hearth. They sang terribly, raised their glasses high, and made me laugh until my ribs ached. I lifted my glass, looked at the faces that had become my chosen family, and smiled. To myself, I said, steady and proud, because validation begins here. Their cheers rang out, but the truest celebration was the quiet certainty within me. I had broken the chains, chosen my own life, and at last given myself the birthday I deserved.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.